Spring. New beginnings. Spring arrived on Maple Street with a burst of color and activity. The cold days of winter were gone, and the neighborhood was coming alive. Flowers started to bloom, and the trees grew new leaves. The air was filled with the sounds of birds singing and children laughing. Mrs. Johnson, an elderly woman who lived at the end of the street, loved gardening. Every spring, she planted flowers in her front yard. This year, she decided to plant tulips, daffodils, and roses. She spent hours digging in the soil, planting seeds, and watering her garden. Her flowers brought joy to everyone who walked by. "I love seeing your garden every year," said Mr. Green, her next-door neighbor. "It's like the street comes alive with your flowers." Next door to Mrs. Johnson lived the Martinez family. Mr. and Mrs. Martinez and their two children, Miguel and Sofia, spent the weekends cleaning their house and yard. They washed the windows, cleaned the garage, and painted the fence. Miguel and Sofia helped by raking leaves and picking up sticks. After the hard work, they enjoyed playing soccer in their clean yard. "Let's have a race to see who can pick up the most sticks," Miguel suggested. "You're on," Sofia replied, laughing as they both ran around the yard. The Thompson family, who lived across the street, took advantage of the warm weather by spending more time outside. They set up a table and chairs in their backyard and often had picnics. Mr. Thompson loved to barbecue, and the smell of grilled burgers and hot dogs filled the air. Their children, Emily and Jack, loved riding their bikes and playing with their friends. "Can we have a barbecue every weekend, Dad?" Emily asked, her mouth full of grilled corn. Mr. Thompson laughed. "We'll see, Emily. Maybe not every weekend, but we'll have lots of them." Spring on Maple Street was a time of renewal and happiness. The residents enjoyed the fresh air and the chance to spend time outdoors after the long winter months. The sounds of laughter, the smell of blooming flowers, and the sight of children playing made Maple Street feel vibrant and full of life. Summer. Fun in the sun. As summer arrived, Maple Street became even more lively. The days were longer and hotter, and everyone found ways to stay cool and have fun. The sound of children playing filled the air from morning until evening. One of the most exciting parts of summer was the arrival of the ice cream truck. Every afternoon, the truck would come down Maple Street, playing its cheerful music. Children would run out of their houses with money in their hands, excited to buy their favorite treats. Emily and Jack always got chocolate ice cream, while Miguel and Sofia loved the popsicles. "Here comes the ice cream truck!" Jack shouted, running to grab his coins. Families on Maple Street enjoyed having barbecues and outdoor parties. The Martinez family often invited neighbors over for cookouts. They set up tables in the backyard with plenty of food. Grilled chicken, corn on the cob, and watermelon. The adults talked and laughed, while the children played games and chased each other around the yard. "Do you want to play tag, Sophia?" asked Emily. "Sure, but you have to count to 10 first," Sophia replied, running off with a giggle. To beat the heat, many kids on Maple Street played in sprinklers. Mrs. Johnson always set up a sprinkler in her front yard and invited the neighborhood kids to join. Emily, Jack, Miguel, and Sophia loved running through the cold water, squealing with delight. "This is the best way to cool off," Miguel said, jumping through the sprinkler's spray. Summer evenings were perfect for sitting outside and enjoying the warm breeze. The Thompsons often sat on their porch, watching the fireflies and listening to the crickets. Sometimes they would have bonfires and roast marshmallows, telling stories and enjoying each other's company. "Tell us another story about when you were a kid, Dad," Jack begged. Mr. Thompson smiled. "All right. How about the time I built a tree house with my friends? Summer on Maple Street was a time of fun and relaxation. The residents enjoyed the sunshine, the company of friends, and the simple pleasures of the season. Whether it was cooling off with ice cream, playing in the sprinklers, or having barbecues, everyone found ways to make the most of the long, sunny days. Fall, a season of change. When fall arrived, Maple Street transformed once again. The air grew cooler, and the leaves on the trees turned beautiful shades of red, orange, and yellow. The neighborhood was filled with the sounds of leaves crunching underfoot and the sight of children playing in piles of fallen leaves. Fall meant back-to-school time for the children of Maple Street. Emily and Jack were excited to start a new school year. They bought new backpacks and school supplies and couldn't wait to see their friends. Miguel and Sophia also looked forward to school, especially since they were starting new classes and meeting new teachers. "Look at my new backpack, Mom," Emily said, showing off her pink bag with unicorns. "It's wonderful, Emily," Mrs. Thompson replied. "You're going to have a great school year." Halloween was one of the most anticipated events of the fall season. The residents of Maple Street loved to decorate their homes with pumpkins, scarecrows, and spooky decorations. Mrs. Johnson carved a jack-o'-lantern and put it on her porch, while the Martinez family hung up ghost decorations in their yard. "Do you think our house looks scary enough?" Miguel asked, adjusting a fake spider web. "It's perfect," Sophia said, placing a plastic spider on the web. On Halloween night, the street was filled with children in costumes, going from house to trick-or-treat. Emily dressed up as a witch, and Jack wore a pirate costume. Miguel was a superhero, and Sophia was a princess. They all carried bags and shouted, "Trick or treat!" at each house, collecting candy and treats from their neighbors. "This is the best Halloween ever!" Jack exclaimed, looking at his bag full of candy. Fall on Maple Street was a time of change and excitement. The cool weather and colorful leaves made the neighborhood feel magical, and the residents enjoyed the festive activities and the beginning of the school year. The traditions of Halloween and the return to school brought the community together, making fall a special season for everyone. Winter, cozy and festive. Winter brought a different kind of beauty to Maple Street. The first snowfall covered the neighborhood in a blanket of white, transforming it into a winter wonderland. Children eagerly put on their winter coats, hats, and gloves to play in the snow. They built snowmen, had snowball fights, and made snow angels in their yards. "Let's make the biggest snowman ever," Jack suggested, rolling a large snowball. Inside their homes, the residents of Maple Street prepared for the holidays. The Martinez family set up a Christmas tree in their living room, decorating it with lights, ornaments, and a star on top. Mrs. Johnson baked holiday cookies, filling her house with the sweet smell of sugar and spice. "These cookies are going to be perfect for the holiday party," Mrs. Johnson said, placing them on a tray. The Thompson family enjoyed cozy evenings by the fireplace. They drank hot cocoa and read books together, enjoying the warmth and comfort of their home. Mr. Thompson loved telling stories about his childhood winters, making Emily and Jack laugh with tales of his snowy adventures. "Tell us the one about the time you got stuck in the snow, Dad," Emily said, snuggling under a blanket. One of the highlights of winter on Maple Street was the neighborhood holiday party. Every year, the community center hosted a gathering where neighbors could come together to celebrate. There were games, music, and plenty of food. Everyone brought a dish to share, creating a festive feast for all to enjoy. "This is my favorite party of the year," Miguel said, enjoying a piece of pie. As the new year approached, the residents of Maple Street reflected on the past year and looked forward to new beginnings. They made resolutions and set goals, feeling hopeful and excited about the future. "I'm going to learn to play the guitar this year," Sophia announced, "and I'm going to practice every day." Winter on Maple Street was a time of coziness and celebration. The snow and holidays brought the community closer together, creating lasting memories and traditions. The residents cherished the warmth of their homes, the joy of the holiday season, and the bonds they shared with their neighbors. The changing seasons on Maple Street brought new activities, challenges, and joys to the residents. Each season had its own beauty and special moments, making life on Maple Street rich and full. As the years passed, the neighbors continued to cherish their time together, creating a strong and vibrant community. From the vibrant blooms of spring to the festive celebrations of winter, the residents of Maple Street embraced the rhythms of the seasons. They supported each other through the changes, finding joy in both the everyday moments and the special occasions. Whether it was gardening, playing in the sprinklers, trick-or-treating, or sharing holiday meals, the community thrived on the connections they built and the traditions they upheld. And so, with each passing season, Maple Street remained a place of warmth, friendship, and togetherness, a true home for all who lived there.